This is Jonathan Leake with Gainsight's Success for Admins team. Welcome to Admin 101. Today we'll be talking about scorecards. While much of Gainsight is based around the processing and use of objective, quantifiable data, there will always be a subjective component to customer success management. Scorecards are a simple, visual way to combine objective and subjective elements to define an overall customer health score. Here's a snippet from the Customer 360 view showing what scorecards look like, both subjective and objective. The subjective vital signs need to be input manually and include things like personal interactions with customers. Objective vital signs will come out of automated processes via the rules engine. A scorecard is a scoring scheme that comprises of one or more measures that monitor different signals of health or risk. These measures each track one specific metric related to customer health and are grouped according to what they potentially indicate. For example, the opportunities measure group includes things like great NPS surveys, high usage percentages, and upsells. Things that indicate the relationship with that customer is healthy, and there might be an opportunity for an upsell or an expansion in service. The risk measure group, on the other hand, might measure low NPS surveys, large numbers of support tickets, things that indicate we might be in danger of losing that customer. Let's take a look at what scorecards look like in practice. These scorecards are following a red, yellow, green color scheme, using color to display a measure that outlines a health grade. The color and number of levels are both configurable, and each scorecard has a description that you set up. For the objective scorecards, you typically configure this to tell you what the number is based off of. In subjective scorecards, it is often used as a note space to explain why it was assigned the score it was. If you click on the score itself, you are presented with a slider allowing you to manually set the score. This slider is also accompanied with labels that you can configure to make sure your team is using the slider in the same way. A score of 70 is only helpful if everyone is on the same page regarding what 70 means. In order to set these up, we'll need to go into the Administration tab and select Scorecard. There are 3 levels of configuration. The first is Global. For the most part, these are set up during your initial implementation and are rarely changed after that. We do recommend that you load Snapshot to engagement every week. This will write a snapshot of every metric and load it to your usage data object, allowing you to trend it over time. The 4th checkbox is an older method of doing usage tracking. If you're already doing the 3rd checkbox, you don't need the 4th one, and it's just going to end up taking up more Salesforce space, so you should go ahead and turn it off. The next level of configuration is the grading scheme. There are 3 grading schemes that Gainsight supports: red, yellow, green, numeric, and grading. All of these grading schemes look at the same number behind the scenes. It's just a matter of how you would like to see the number represented to your CSMs. Numeric allows you to translate that number into numbered labels, level 1, level 2, etc., and it retains the actual number. Grading allows you to assign a letter grade, typically A through F, while red, yellow, green simply assigns a color. Regardless of how you label it, you get to set how these levels are divided up based on a 0 to 100 scale. For each of these, you can see the grade range as well as the average for that grade range. The final level of configuration is measure and group configuration. Create a new group, we will input a name, then add group, which will create a group at the bottom of the page. To create a new measure within that group, you use the template on the left-hand side. There are 2 types of measures: manual and smart sign. If you select manual, this measure is going to be updated either by a click of the mouse or via the rules engine. If you have enough data though, and the measure is based off a single metric, you can use smart sign instead. This will assign a measure value based on how that particular customer fits on a bell curve of all customers with regards to that metric. Validity period allows you to set how frequently this measure should be updated. This is especially useful for measures you are expecting users to keep updated. This will cause a small icon to appear next to the metric once it is out of date. The metric will still be there, but you'll be notified that it isn't as current as it should be. This is a helpful reminder to update that metric, but it's also useful if you have executives that only visit Gainsight occasionally. The icon will let them know how reliable that data is. Clicking Weight will allow you to assign weight to measures, prioritizing them based on what's important to your organization. These weights are percentages, representing how much of an effect that measure has on the customer's overall health score. You are allowed to set this to 0 for a measure. This is helpful if you have a metric you want to show a scorecard of, but don't necessarily want it affecting the overall health score. And that about covers scorecards. Thank you for joining us in Admin 101, and good luck.